And we started this conversation with what matters to you. And I hope that during this time, number one, you've thought about what does matter to you. And I hope that you've seen some ways that you can really take charge of some of the most important decisions that you make every single day that can help you to continue to enjoy the people that matter most for as long as possible. So that's my presentation. I wanted to leave time for questions, so please, anybody that has a question from the back of the room?
Is the health of your arteries the same throughout your body?
Ooh, I love that question. She asked, is the health of your arteries the same throughout your body? Great question, because the answer is no. So different parts of the artery system do age faster than others. And that's why both heart attacks and strokes are so much more common than things like kidney failure. So the kidneys tend to not get damaged as easily, but the heart and the brain do. So absolutely. And so one way to test that is we can measure different arteries and see what's going on inside of that artery. Another great question, which artery do you pick to measure first? So the way we decide that is we want it to be easy, and we want it to be safe, and we want it to be inexpensive. And the easiest way to do that is with an ultrasound on the arteries in the neck. These are called the carotid arteries. And that gives a pretty good, it's about 90% predictive of what's going on in the rest of the body. So a carotid artery ultrasound. And let me give you one nuance to that. So the standard tests that we doctors do are mainly designed to find, is the artery, is the highway impassable or not? Rather than, are there any potholes that might make it impassable? So a traditional run-of-the-mill ultrasound really is looking for, is the highway passable or not? It's the same instrument, but a slightly different picture is taken to look for potholes, which is the age of the artery. So for diabetics, which are the most important arteries to keep an eye on? Another great question. Couple of facts, and I'm sure there are some diabetics in the audience, so I don't say this to frighten you, but more just to give you more information. We know that 90% of people that become diabetic will have at least one heart attack or one stroke in their lifetime. That's pretty incredible. Which is why preventing diabetes and if once you get it, controlling it are so important. So the two biggest arteries are the ones to the brain and the ones to the heart. But they're not the only ones, because diabetes can also damage the little itty bitty ones. The ones in the eye, and that's why many diabetics can have blindness. The ones to the kidney, and so it's not the big arteries, but the little tiny arteries, so kidney failure. And then the arteries into the legs. The most common reason for an amputation is not from an injury, it's from diabetes. Yeah. So the arteries that you need to worry about as a diabetic are really all of them, because diabetes damages, it's an equal opportunity damager, pretty much can go after any of those arteries. Tumeric, oh, that's a great question too. So turmeric is a spice, and there's a lot of really interesting evidence coming out for the benefit. The challenge from my perspective as a scientist and trying to make recommendations is spices and supplements of that nature. It's hard to know how much is in each manufacturer's concoction, and so it's hard to study, and if turmeric is good, did I pick the right one that got me enough of the good stuff? So with that as a caveat, I'll say that there's a lot of good evidence that turmeric is anti-inflammatory and can help to promote better health in the body. But let me share one other thing, because supplements might be a common question. One thing that I teach doctors, so one of the hats I wear is to train other doctors how to help their patients learn how to be healthy. And I teach doctors, you cannot out-prescribe a person's choices. Now, that may sound a little confusing, so let me unpack it. I always thought that if I just gave my patients the right medicine, I could fix all of their problems. Well, that doesn't fix what they're eating, doesn't fix whether they're moving, it doesn't fix if they're not getting enough sleep, which is another important thing. So lifestyle choices are still more important than specific supplements, or in some cases than medicines. Again, there is a right place for medicines. Turmeric, I think if you get a reliable product, probably has some health benefit, but don't let whatever supplement you might be taking mislead you into thinking that food choices and movement choices aren't still really important. What supplements do I recommend? So here's my short list. It's fairly short, and the list is mainly centered on preventing heart attack, stroke, and diabetes. So cinnamon is great. Cinnamon.
Any kind of cinnamon?
So it's hard to eat. First of all, it's hard to eat enough cinnamon. Even if you like it, it's hard to just eat enough of it. So you do need to buy a supplement. And the cassia cinnamon, and you need 2 grams a day or 2,000 milligrams. Cassia cinnamon, C-A-S-S-I-A. Another good supplement is vitamin D. Vitamin D. So the how much depends on the person. So it's hard for me to give a blanket recommendation. Most people are fine if they take up to 1,000 a day, but there are some reasons to not take that much. So just definitely discuss all of these with your own doctor before you do it. A fiber supplement is another supplement. So the psyllium, P-S-Y-L-L-I-U-M, like a Metamucil type of product. Fiber is a great supplement for this. Get the sugar-free. Regular Metamucil has a lot of sugar in it.
How many grams?
So you want to get 30 grams a day, work up to a total of 30 grams a day of fiber, and split the doses throughout the day. So you can take a dose of fiber with each meal. I'm trying to think if I left out a supplement. Fish oil can be very beneficial. It's hard to eat enough fish to get enough of the fish oil, so that's a good supplement as well.
You never said anything about the benefits of chocolate.
Oh, you asked me too, didn't you? I didn't have it on one of my slides, but yeah, so she asked me coming in, I hope that you say something good about chocolate. And I told her, that's absolutely one of my favorites for health. Now, it does need to be dark chocolate, and it's got to be at least 70% dark. So the darker it is, the less sugar is in it. And that's really the main reason. But dark chocolate, in fact, we recommend to our patients to get a little square about, yay big, every day. Think of it as medicine, but enjoy it as a dessert. Thank you for reminding me of the chocolate. And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years.